Okay. Fine. Aziz or
Yes,
Balaji?
ma'am.
Anyone? Tell me what you had done in electrical arc welding. How did you join in electrical arc welding? What are the basic elements in electrical arc welding? Yes, please talk. Aziz or Balaji, anyone?
Electrode rod is used.
Yes, electrode rod or yeah, electrode rod is used. Then what happened? How you were welding? Okay, I'll tell. Right. So in electrical, as many 50% of the students has done this experiment. Right. So what you had done on one hand, you were holding the electrode rod, isn't it? So there was a table, right? On that you were putting your workpiece, and you were doing the V joint. Before that, you had done the filling, the V joint 45 degrees angle. You kept those two plates on the table, right? So what the person lab assistant has done, he had connected one to the ground. The plate was connected, the one connection was given to the ground, and you were handling the electrode rod, right? So to start the electrical arc welding, first you had dropped the filler rod, you had just removed it, right? Isn't it? You kept the filler rod in contact with the workpiece, and then you removed it immediately, isn't it? Did you do the filler rod continuously, or you had kept in contact and you removed it, Aziz?
Yes, ma'am. We have done.
No, you have done. Did you put the electrode rod first in contact with the workpiece and immediately did you remove it or not?
Yes, ma'am. We removed immediately.
Yes.
First
So
time.
why do you remove it immediately in welding? Why do you remove it in welding? Why not you were in putting it in contact continuously? Do you know the reason? Do you know the reason, Aziz or Balaji?
No, madam.
No? Right. So we'll see that. Okay. So in welding, what happens is you will connect the electrode rod. The electrode rod will be connected to the cathode. Please, all of you listen it. Right. Electrode rod will be connected to the cathode, and the workpiece will be connected to the anode. So now I am giving the electrical energy to the electrode rod, right? So the electricity will pass from the cathode towards the anode, from negative to positive, right? So from negative to positive, when the electrical current is passing, i am I am closing the circuit. So when I am removing the electrode rod suddenly or immediately, the circuit will break, right? So when the circuit breaks, there will be a gap between the electrode rod and the workpiece, right? There will be a gap between the electrode rod and the workpiece. So this gap will get ionized, in the sense this gap will the heat will liberate in between the filler rod and the workpiece. The gap will be there, right? So that gap will get ionized. So because of this ionization, the heat will be liberated and the electrode rod will start heating the workpiece. Isn't it? You were heating the workpiece and the electrode rod was melting it, isn't it? So this heating and melting will start continuously. It will do until you complete the workpiece. This is the basic principle of welding. So you can connect your electrode rod to the positive terminal and workpiece to the negative terminal, or you can do the reverse process, right? So that you will see it in tomorrow's class, but this is the basic mechanism where you are heating it melting it, and you are making the two plates. You are making it as a one single mass, right? So you want to join, or you want to make the two plates into the single plate by heating it and melting it, right? How you are heating it and melting it? You are passing an electrical energy in electrical arc welding. Whereas in gas welding, what you were doing, you were sending the gas called oxygen or oxygen plus acetylene, and you were heating the material. On the other hand, you were using the filler rod. That is gas welding. In gas welding, there won't be electrical energy. You'll be using a gas, plus gas will create the, it will heat the material, and on the other side, the filler rod will fill the material. In electrical arc welding, the electrode rod itself will melt and it will join the metal, right? Two plates, it will heat it and it will melt the material, and the electrode rod will deposit the joint, and it will make a single mass, or it will merge the two plates. That is called welding, right? So here in the slide, the definition what it is given. Wait 1 minute. Yes. So the welding is a joining process which produces coalescences, means merging of material by heating them to suitable temperature with or without pressure, or by application of pressure, or with or without filler material. So what is given? You are merging the two different plates or two same plates by application of pressure, or it could be heat, or it could be a using by a filler metal, is called as a welding process, right? So please remember, welding is a permanent fabrication process. All of you understood?
Yes.
Is it clear? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, madam.
Right? So why do you give the electrode rod in contact, and why do you remove it? Is the reason is you will allow the gap to ionize. After this session, you can open a video in the YouTube. The best example is the train. The electrical lines will pass on the train, right? So what do they do? Once in a while, they will do the service for the electrical signals, right? So they will remove the circuit of the electrical signals which are passing on the train, right? So even though they cut the circuit, there will be a heat generated between the positive and the negative terminals, right? You can see this video, the electrical, how the electrical signals will pass on the train. What happens if they cut the signal, or if they cut the circuit in the electrical current? You type this in Google, you will know how the heat will generate even you cut the circuit, right? So the next slide is classification of welding process, right? So classification of welding process is based on the force of heat, right? Based on the pressure or force you apply, right? So this and if you use electrical circuit, so you talk it as resistance welding. We had done one experiment called resistance welding. Do you remember spot welding?
Yes,
Spot
ma'am.
welding, right? So that is if you use an electrical circuit, and if you use the uh, two electrodes, copper electrodes, and if the joining process is due to the resistance towards the heat, that you call it as resistance welding. If you use electrical arc welding, there are different welding process. We'll see it in the figure now. Right? So all of you make a note. The basic classification of the welding process are of two types. One is fusion welding and solid state welding. If you want to attend any interview, they will ask you what is the difference between a solid state welding and a fusion welding. So you must be very clear to answer them, right? So in fusion welding, right, in fusion welding, if you will melt the base metal, right, if you will melt the base metal either by applying heat, right, then you call it as fusion welding. In solid state welding, you will not use any filler rod. You will just join the two different plates or two different components either by pressure or by heat. No filler rod will be used in solid state welding. In fusion welding, you will be using filler rod, electrode, right? So in the basic difference is in solid state welding, you will apply pressure or heat. Either of it you will apply, but no filler rod. In fusion welding, you will heat the base metal and you will use the electrode rod or the filler rod to join or to merge the plates. This is the basic difference. Okay. The next slide. All of you make a note of it. In this slide, it is very clear. The classification of welding process is fusion welding, fusion welding, and solid state welding. Under fusion welding, right? Under fusion welding, you have three different types of methods. One is electrical arc. The second one is gas welding. The third one is chemical reaction, right? This is not there in your syllabus. The chemical welding which comes under chemical reaction is thermite welding. Okay. So the under fusion welding you have three types. One is electrical arc welding, gas welding, and chemical reaction, right? So under electrical arc welding you have carbon arc welding, metal arc welding, inert gas welding. I said right, TIG and MIG. Under inert gas welding, right, you will use the gas here as a shielding material. Shielding is nothing but you are protecting the welding area. Why you are protecting the welding area? As the welding area is in about it is in a heated zone, right? So because of the air or because of in contact with the electrode or because of the atmosphere, there will be a zone called heat affected zone, right? So in this heat affected zone, there could be a change in mechanical properties, right? So you should take care of mechanic. It should not alter the mechanical properties of the material, right? So the strength of the welded joint should be always more than the base metal. This is the first gunshot point in welding. Is when you do the welding, you are telling welding is a permanent joint, right? So the welded joint should not break when I apply an impact load, right, or any other load or sudden load, right? So that area should have more strength when compared to the beside or the surrounding base plate. In order to attain a good mechanical properties, or in order to not alter the mechanical properties, you should have a shielded area or a shielded gas which will protect that area, that welded area, right? So in order to protect that, you will use tungsten, or there are different types of gases like argon. You can use argon, right? So what are the inert gases? Argon, helium, krypton, right? So these gases are used as a shielding material to protect the welding area, right? So that comes under inert gas welding, right? The fourth one is submerged arc welding. Submerged arc welding is nothing but I have shared you one video. In this, the two plates will be joined, but you cannot see the joint with your naked eye. That will be under the thickness, like the you will join the two different plates, but the joint you cannot see the joint, but ultimately the two different plates will be welded. That is submerged metal arc welding, or simply you can call it as submerged arc welding, right? The fifth one is stud arc welding. These all will come under electrical arc welding. Next, the second one under the fusion welding is gas welding, right? In gas welding, if you use oxygen plus acetylene, you call it as oxyacetylene welding. Instead of acetylene, you can use hydrogen, right? You can use argon, right? Based on the requirement, you go in combination with oxygen, right? So this is gas welding. In our lab, we have this equipment. We have got two cylinders. One is for oxygen and one is for acetylene, right? So there you will do, generally when you open any pen, any screw, you will open it, which type of threading, right hand or left hand? Aziz, are you there? Balaji, none of them is
Yes,
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
madam.
Okay, when you open your pen, right, which hand, you right hand thread or left hand thread do you use? Which type? Aziz, now you are opening the pen. Is it
Ma'am,
right hand or left hand?
ma'am, we will open anti-clockwise, ma'am. Anything we will open anti-clockwise?
Yeah, you tell me which, that is right hand screw or left hand.
It is towards left hand.
Let me get my pen and I will show you.
Okay.
Yes. Hello. Yes, is everyone there?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now I'm opening. Can you see when I'm
We can see
opening
you,
the
ma'am.
pen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how I'm opening it? How I'm opening it? It is anti-clockwise, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So in gas welding, in anti-clockwise direction, the pen is moving very fast, whereas clockwise direction you cannot open it very fastly, as oxygen and acetylene, they are the gas is very hazardous. Acetylene is very hazardous, right? So in that cylinder, the threading will be in clockwise direction. That is the way you can remember in gas welding, the cylinder, whatever the cap of the cylinder or the valve of the cylinder will be in clockwise direction, right? And in gas welding, there will be color code, right? In class also I said maroon and black, remember? Oxygen and acetylene cylinders will be painted with, one will be painted with maroon and one will be painted with black. Okay, that we'll see in the next slide. Okay, now in under gas welding, you have got oxyacetylene welding, oxyhydrogen, oxyargon welding. Okay, next slide is on gas welding arc welding, the same thing is repeated here. Okay, so under resistance welding, you have got resistance welding. We have done one experiment where you were using the two copper electrode rods, and there were you were putting the two sheet metal plates, right? So you were holding the sheet metal plates under the two copper electrodes, right? Or you can talk it as two copper rods, right? So these two copper rods were in contact with the workpiece, and you were applying pressure by pedal, right? So here you are applying pressure, right? And there was an electrical current which was passing from the copper rod. Because of that, it is heating, right? So that comes under resistance welding. Resistance welding and solid state welding will come under unit 4, right? So in solid state welding, we have friction welding, force welding, diffusion welding, explosion welding, and the last comes the advanced techniques of welding are electro beam welding, laser beam welding, right? So in today's class, we'll see gas welding. The next topic of in this slide is types of welding joints. As we all know, there are two types of welding joints. One is butt joint, corner joint, right? Butt joint, you can give V joint or you can give U joint, right? So in the butt joint, the part lies in the same plane, and you can join the two edges, right? You can join the two edges. Here in the corner joint, the two plates will be of about 90 degrees. This is all we had seen in the class. Lap joint, two overlapping joints which you had done in spot welding. Lap joint, remember? T joint, right? Please see the figure. T joint, lap joint. In exam, they may ask you explain the different types of welding joints. So you should draw all these clearly. Butt, corner, lap joint, T joint, edge joint, edge joint. Everyone see? Neeraj,
Yeah.
are you there?
And
Neeraj, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, jangan
So this is the figures: butt joint, lap joint, corner joint, edge joint, and T joint. Edge joint is the one they will join the two edges, right? And the based on the position, there are different types of positions of the filler rod, right? There are a horizontal. You can use horizontal position, or you can use vertical position, or you can use overhead position, right? So based on the position, they will go for different types of welding. Yes, these are the types of welds: bead weld, groove weld, fillet weld, and slot weld. So this is welding terminology we had seen in the class. Face of the weld, the bottom one is the root or reinforcement, right? So this is the face of the weld, the face, the distance between this edge to this edge, right? All of you know this welding terminology. It's not much important, but in terms of knowledge point of view, you should know the link of the welding part, right? So here you can see this is the welding area, right? The area which is the neighbored area, this area you call it as heat affected zone, right? This area, right? On either of sides, you will get two. 1 minute. Yes, you get the heat affected zone. So the grains at the heat affected zone will start elongating from the surrounding or the edge of the welding area, right? So in order to control this area, you will use the shielded gas, right? Or you can use coatings to the electrode. And I think in when you are done an electrical arc welding, the lab assistant sir has removed the electrode rod, and it was written clearly it was coated, right? So there will be a coated electrode rod, right? To in order to take care of this heat affected zone. One minute. Right, so there are different types of weld. Please see this. This is a fillet weld, right? We had seen what is toe. Toe is an intersection of the welded area and the base metal, right? The intersection of two welded faces is root, right? So the two face, throat, toe, leg, root, all these are the intersections with respect to the welded area and the base metal. So welding positions, so I said, right, flat position, horizontal position, vertical position. There is another position called overhead position, right? So in this slide they have shown you the difficulty level. So difficulty level will start increasing from flat to flat, horizontal, vertical, and overhead is very difficult, right? So generally they do this overhead welding for the bridges, right? So when you do the welding process, before doing the welding process, you will first prepare the welding joints, right? As we had done 45 degrees faces, right? So for the butt joint, you can do 45 degrees. You can use single, double, single U, double U, right? Based on the requirements, they go for the preparation. Welding terminology. This we had seen, right? Base metal, weld bead. Yes, is it clear? Welding terms is not much important. Just see what is toe, what is the face or weld bead, right? What is root? All those, just you see the definitions. They'll not ask you much from this. Only they will ask you types of welding joints, right? They will ask you classify the welding process. Classify the welding process, and they may ask you one of the welding method. Either they can ask you gas welding or electrical arc welding, but main important questions are they will ask you classify or write the different types of welding methods. Okay, so be clear, write the welding definition of the welding should be very clear, right? I always suggest do not write the definitions with your own words. Write the definitions from the textbook. Okay. Next. Can I go to the next PPT? Can I go
Yes,
to the
ma'am.
next PPT?
Yes.
Yes. So the next part in the third unit is gas welding. Can you all see this slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry,
No, ma'am.
okay. Let me. Okay. Can you see now?
No, ma'am.
No PPT is visible.
No, ma'am. It's not visible.
You share, how to share? Ah, yeah, now I got it. Yes. Now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the first slide is visible to you, fusion welding.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Right? So fusion, so the basic, we had seen the slides which before the slides is the welding is categorized into two basic types. One is fusion, right? And the other one is solid state. In solid state, you will use only the pressure or heat. You will not use any filler metal. You will join the plates by application of pressure, right? In fusion welding, you will join the two plates by heating the two plates and filling the joint by the filler rod, right? So the filler rod will fill the material and there will be an unit to feed the material, right? So in the gas welding, you can see in the diagram here, there is two parts. The three parts, one is base metal, second one is filler rod, the third one is torch. You can call it as welding torch, right? So this welding torch, it is heating the base metal, right? This filler rod on the other side, it is filling the material, right? It is filling, this filler rod is the one which will join or it will merge the two plates, right? By when this is heating, this filler rod will melt, right? So this welding torch, the gas which is coming out, the gas which is sent inside this torch is C2H2, acetylene, and oxygen, right? So this flames, there are different types of flames. Do you remember the flames? There was a neutral flame. Remember? I have said in the class there are three different flames. You can distinguish these flames based on the color or based on the shape of the flame.
Yes,
Remember?
ma'am. Yes,
Remember?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Girls, are you there? Are you there? Right? So in gas welding, I'm reading the definition. All of you, please listen. Gas welding, the metal joining in which the ends of the pieces to be joined are heated at their interface by producing the coalescences or merging with one or more gas flames with or without the use of filler metal. So you are joining the two plates by heating the base metal by using different flames along with the filler metal, or you may not use the filler metal. This is gas welding, right? So there is no electrical energy, just gas plus the filler rod and the base metal. These are the three major parts in gas welding. It is done by combustion of fuel gases with the help of oxygen. Right, we'll see the equation now, how the combustion takes place between the oxygen and acetylene. Right, So the types of the gases they use are acetylene, hydrogen, propane, and natural gas. So based on the gases, the types of gas welding is again classified as oxyacetylene, air acetylene, oxyhydrogen gas welding. Okay, so this is the figure. Right? So I said the equation, right? C2H2 plus oxygen gives 2 times of carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide plus hydrogen plus heat, right? At this stage, the temperature will be of around 3200 degrees centigrade. The second stage, this carbon monoxide will again give reaction along with the hydrogen, right? So this is primary stage and this is the secondary stage, right? So there will be, this is the equipment for the gas welding. I said 2 cylinders will be there and the opening of the wall will be clockwise direction, right? So this black colored one is for oxygen cylinder, maroon color is for the acetylene, or you can use different fuel gases like you can use hydrogen or you can use argon or any other gases, right? So this gas cylinders are connected to the, who is this coming in between, right? Connected to the torch, right? So here you will get the flame. This is the workpiece, or you can call it as base metal. On the other side, on the other hand, you will be having the filler rod. This is the layout. Who is this writing? Stop writing now. Right. So acetylene cylinder, right. So acetylene cylinder will not be stable of about 2 bar, right? So hence you will store this acetylene under low pressure, right? So this acetylene you will put it in the form of liquid state plus 80% porous metal, right? So this acetylene, oxygen will be normal, but as the storage of acetylene will be under, it will be under combination of 80% porous metal and 20% acetone, right? So the pressure of the acetylene gas will be of 15 bar. The next slide is about welding torch. Anyone can read for me? Neeraj? Neeraj?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, read.
Welding torch. Both the fuel gas and oxygen at suitable pressure fed through hoses to the welding torch. There are valves for each gas which control the flow of gases inside the torch. Both gases
Yes.
mix there and form a flammable mixture.
Yes.
These gases ignite.
Yeah. Okay. So in the previous slide, we had seen a welding torch here, right? Welding torch here, right? So these two different oxygen and acetylene will mix here, and the reaction what we had seen, two reactions. C2H2 plus oxygen gives rise to carbon monoxide and hydrogen, whatever the chemical terminology, that will take place in the mixing chamber, right? There will exist, there comes the combustion reaction. Due to that combustion reaction, the heat will start liberating from the torch. This will be, this whatever the reaction will be in the mixing chamber. There will be a mixing chamber here, right? So from these two walls, this both will enter and it will mix thoroughly in the correct proportion, and you will get the flame, right? And this mixing of the oxygen and acetylene will be in your hands, right? You can use more oxygen and less acetylene, or you can use less oxygen and more acetylene, or you can use both in the same proportion, right? If you use both in the same proportions, you will get a neutral flame, right? If you use acetylene more and oxygen less, you get carburizing flame, right? The flame, whatever it, the liberation of the flame will be under the rate, the composition rate of oxygen and acetylene. Okay, where are we? Yes. Yeah, Neeraj, read. Neeraj, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, already.
Yes.
Cylinder valves to regulate the flow of gases. That's it, ma'am. I can't see anything else.
Wait, I have to click. I have to click. Yes.
Specific coding. Left
Yes,
hand
I
threads
said
from
right. There will be two different threads: left hand thread and right hand thread. Did I show? I have shown you an example how to remove the pen screw, right? So left hand thread will be used for the combustible gases, right? Because the operator sometimes he will remove it, as we are always uh, uh, like we are habituated for the right hand thread, right? So right hand thread is nothing but anti-clockwise direction. Left hand thread is nothing but clockwise direction, as we are always habituated for the right hand thread. So that's why in order to distinguish which is combustible and which is not, which is normal gas, they'll give the threadings will be different, right? For the combustible gases, to use left hand thread, or you can, in our terminology, we will remove it in clockwise direction. Right hand thread is for the non-combustible gases. This will, you can get this in your gate or your public service questions, public service examination. They will ask you which type of threads they will use for the gas welding, or simply the cylinders in the gas welding, which type of thread they use. That is left hand thread, right? Who is this? Yes, next, the equipment is cylindrical valve, pressure regulator, hoses, nozzle tip. The fourth one is not necessary. So these are the basic equipments what we had seen one figure, right? So they are just describing each and every part. Now they are giving you the working, how the gas welding will work. Yes, Balaji, read for me. Whatever I have explained till now, that's written here. Balaji, read for me.
In this process, all the equipments are connected carefully.
Yes.
The gas cylinder and oxygen cylinder connected to welding torch through pressure regulators.
You can see the pressure regulators there, right? Okay.
Now regulate pressure of gas and oxygen supplied to torch where the properly mixed.
Okay.
The flame is ignited. Take care the tip of torch is pointed downward.
Yes. So the tip, whatever the nozzle tip, should be very careful. It should not be in contact with the workpiece. Remember that the torch tip should never be in contact with the workpiece. The filler rod will be in contact with the workpiece, or in electrical arc welding, the filler rod is in contact and you were removing it. But whereas in gas welding, you will not put it in contact with the workpiece. Because of the heat itself, the filler rod will melt and it will join, right? Yes. This is already it's understood. We'll see the important essay question from the unit 3 is explain the types of flames in gas welding. Very, very, very important. Please, all of you make a note of it. They will ask you explain the types of flames in gas welding. It is a gunshot question, just like properties of sand in metal casting, right? So, the three different types of flames in gas welding is neutral flame, right? That is when you use oxygen and acetylene both in the same proportions. How the same proportions, and you call it as neutral flame. Oxidizing flame is if you use more oxygen and less acetylene, that you call it as oxidizing flame. Carburizing flame is if you use less oxygen and more acetylene, you call it as carburizing flame, right? So these three flames, you can distinguish which type of flame is that is by the shape. There will be a the sharp corners or a hissing sound, right? In neutral flame, you will get an hissing sound, right? So we'll see that figures now. So here you can see the neutral flame, oxidizing flame, carburizing flame. Okay, so in neutral flame, the temperature of the outer envelope, the blue colored part, or this blue colored, you can see even in your gas cylinders also, right? So this blue flame, the temperature will be of about 2100 degrees centigrade. In class, I have given you the temperatures of oxidizing and carburizing flames also. The outer envelope temperatures, please see that again. Here it is not given. In exam, please give the numbers. The temperatures are different for three different flames, right? So when you label these three flames, give the temperatures of the outer envelope also. Okay. So there is a triangle in between. You can see, right? This you call it as inner cone. This inner cone is common in the both in all the three flames, right? Whereas in neutral flame, the inner cone, the length of the inner cone will be very less, right? In oxidizing flame, the inner cone, length of the inner cone will be it will be pointed, right? So the blue flame will be narrow, right? But whereas in neutral flame, then the blue flame will be short, okay, and it will have an hissing sound. Then you call it as neutral flame, right? In carburizing flame, you have got you will get an extra flame or extra picturization. You call it as feather. That feather you call it as acetylene feather. As you are giving more acetylene, you will get in the middle you will get a feather called acetylene feather, right? So by seeing the flame itself, you can say that could be an carburizing flame, right? So based on the materials, like based on the base material properties, you will go for different types of flames. Okay, please draw this diagram clearly in your exam. Right now, they have described each flame clearly. In the neutral flame, the volume of the acetylene and oxygen will be same and obtains additional oxygen from the air and provides complete combustion. So the neutral flame is generally preferable flame, right? So we'll see for which type of materials they are going it for, right? So this neutral flame is used for mild steel, stainless steel, cast iron, copper, and aluminium, right? So this will be in the color of the flame will be light blue color, right? The outer envelope will be in light blue color, whereas the inner cone will be in white color, right? Light blue and white combination is for neutral flame. The next one is oxidizing flame. So here you will use excess oxygen, right? Excess oxygen. The temperature will be, the inner cone temperature will be of about 3482 degrees centigrade. Okay. So this is the diagram. The materials they go for the oxidizing flame is zinc, copper, manganese, steel, and cast iron. And the color will be purple color. Okay, slightly purple color. The third flame is carburizing flame. Here you will have excess acetylene. So here it is very easy to say which this, you can easily distinguish this because you will get the three layers here. One is inner cone, one is feather, and the other one is the blue flame. In lab, the lab assistant sir will show you these three different flames, right? By adjusting the walls, you can see these three flames very easily, right? So the temperature of the inner cone, the white colored, the inner cone, it will be about 3149 degrees centigrade. Okay. Right, so this welding, gas welding, it's the same. The factors which will depend on the welding techniques are the material properties, size and shape, or the properties of the joint. And there are two techniques. The way you the movement of the torch with respect to the filler rod. Either you can use left hand technique or right hand technique. Left hand technique is when I move from the right towards the left. When I move the torch from the right towards the left, you call it as left hand technique. Whereas in right hand technique, when I'm starting the torch or when I'm heating the material from the left and I'm moving towards the right, you call it as right hand technique, right? So left hand technique is for thin materials. Right hand technique is for thick materials. Right, you can see in the figure, they are moving from the right towards the left, right? The torch is moving from the right and the filler rod is opposite to the torch. The filler rod is opposite to the torch. So the torch is first heating and filler rod is depositing here. So here in the below figure, they had given you the inclination of the filler rod with respect to the base metal and inclination of the torch tip or the axis of the torch with respect to the base metal. Right hand technique, I said it will start from the left and move towards the right. So what it will do, it is for the thicker material, it will heat the material from it will heat the material and it will melt the material, right? So by this the mechanical properties can be improved and less gas consumption in right hand technique. Again, they had given you the inclination of the filler rod with respect to the base metal. So in this slide, they are given you the advantages. It is easy to operate. No skilled labor is required. The equipment cost is cheaper. It is more portable. Maintenance cost, or it is easy, maintenance cost is very less, right? Even you can use gas welding for cutting purpose also, But the torch, whatever, instead of using the filler rod, you will use the gas, the torch. The design of the torch will be different. You will not use any filler metal. Only the gas will be used for cutting purpose. That you call it as gas cutting. We'll see the disadvantages. It's a slow joining process, low surface finish, large heat affected zone as you are heating it continuously, whereas in electrical arc welding or in TIG welding you have got shielded material. Higher safety issues. It is suitable for only soft and thin material, not suitable for highly reactive material. No shielding area, I said right, there is no shielding area or there is no coating given. So you will have the welding defects and the heat affected zone. You cannot control the heat affected zone here. Applications, it is used for thin metals, for both ferrous and non-ferrous metals. Mostly sheet metals will be joined. Automobiles and aircraft industries. Now we'll see gas cutting. This is the time now. Shall I explain gas cutting today or tomorrow? Neeraj?
Explain, ma'am.
Okay.
Explain now.
Right here, the gas cutting process is the one where you will cut the material from 1 mm or 10 mm till 40 mm. Right? There are different cutting methods. As I'm just telling you, in your further semesters, you will see this cutting process. Right? As we all know, there is a conventional cutting. You use hacksaw method. Right? There are non-conventional techniques like water jet cutting, abrasive water jet cutting, right? There is another cutting technique called laser cutting, right? There is another technique called the plasma cutting, right? All these cuttings will be done by using an advanced techniques, right? So here, if you use an hacksaw, a normal conventional cuttings, the surface finish will not be very good, right? The whatever the cut section, you call it as curve. You call in technical terms, you call it as curve. Kerf, curve, right? So here the curve width or whatever the cut section, if it has got taper, again you should go for the secondary finishing process. Whereas in gas cutting, you can cut down this finishing process until 40 mm, right? So it can cut up to 40 mm and different shapes can be, it can cut, right from 2 mm till 40 mm it can cut, right? So now we'll see how the cutting process will be done. Yes. So here in this slide, they had shown you the two equations. One is for cutting, one is for preheating, right? So in first, what they do before cutting, they preheat the joint or whatever the materials which you want to the material, the base metal, they will preheat it, right? So this preheating will be done with iron. Iron plus oxygen gives iron oxide. This equation you can see in the slide, right? So after doing this preheating, then they will open the oxygen cylinder. They will not use acetylene here. Only oxygen cylinder will be used for cutting purpose. Then they will slowly use the acetylene. They will increase the volume of the acetylene. Initially, for the initial cutting purpose, they will open the oxygen cylinder wall. Then they will open the acetylene cylinder later, right? So here they won't use any filler metal. Only oxygen plus acetylene will be used. So here you can see Fe plus oxygen gives I don't know what is this Fe3O4. What is this Fe3O4? Neeraj or Balaji? What is the chemical name for Fe3O4? Neeraj? Neeraj? Please type it in Google and tell me.
Ma'am, ferrous or ferric oxide, ma'am?
Ferric oxide. Okay. So ferric oxide plus 6.6 megajoules per kg. So heat is liberated here, right? So the oxyacetylene gas cutting is similar to the gas welding, except there will be a difference in the torch tip, right? If you use large size, the curve, the tip of the torch, if it is large, then you will get more width of curve, or you can simply call the curve. I will draw it in the book and I will show you. Can you see what I am drawing here? Can you see? Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
This distance you call it as curve. This distance you call it as curve. If the nozzle diameter is more, the curve width will be large. If the nozzle diameter is less, the curve width will be very less, right? So if the curve width is very less, you cannot cut the material. So there should the nozzle tip, wherever this is the nozzle tip, right? This is the torch, right? This is the torch. I'm talking about the diameter of the torch, right? The diameter of the torch should be a correct optimized value. If you use larger diameter, the curve width, the cut section will be large. If you use very less, you will not, the cut section will not, you cannot cut the material, right? So what you will get, let's say this is the workpiece, right? I am cutting the workpiece like this, right? So if you're cutting it in this direction, right?
Ma'am, we can see, ma'am, we can see.
If the diameter is not properly maintained, you will get a striations on the surface. You call it as, in technical terminology, you call it as striations. So this will lead to improper surface finish, right? So this nozzle tip of the torch will always wear. It will wear out. The life of the nozzle tip is very less, right? So you should always replace the tip of the nozzle. It will have the life, the nozzle, they will give you the life of the nozzle, right? So after the life is expired, you have to remove the tip. Again, you have to replace the tip, and again you have to do the cutting process. All this cutting process depends upon the diameter of the tip, right? Now I am showing you, this is the cross section area of the tip, right? The circular section of the tip. Okay, so the centered part is the oxygen Z, right? This is the preheating Z. The Z, or you can say the preheating gas, the gas which comes here, it comes from just 4 holes, right? After sending the oxygen, they will send the acetylene, right? So here in the diagram, they had shown you how the cutting process is taking. The curved sections, you call it as striations, right? There is a curved section, right? This you call it as striations. The section which is cut, you call it as curve. This is curve width. The distance from this to this, you call it as curve width. So they had given you how to position the torch with respect to the base metal. The distance between the standoff distance between the torch with respect to the base metal is between 1.5 to 3 mm, right? In this slide, they had given you the advantages of gas cutting. no electrical power, right? Straight and contours can be easily cut. Contour is nothing but if it has a shape. Straight means straight cut. Contour means it could be curve cut, or it could be a step cut, or it could be a V cut. That you call it as contour, right? So higher thickened materials can be cut up till 40 mm only, right? Disadvantages, it is suitable to the materials which are ready, suitable for the materials which are readily oxidized. Difficulty to clean the material, and surface finish is very rough, right? I said you will get a striation. Again, you to remove that striation, you should do finishing process like the honing, broaching. Honing and broaching are the finishing techniques to remove the striations. Okay. Applications: cutting the larger plates, cutting broken or worn out components, right? Cutting the risers, cutting the in the castings we had seen in the yesterday's class we had seen a projections called rat tails swells, right? So these swells and rat tails, they will cut it with the gas cutting. Okay. That's it for today. Tomorrow we'll see electrical arc welding. Is it clear? Is
Yes,
it
ma'am.
clear?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
from gas
Yes, ma'am.
welding, they will ask you types of flames. Types of flames is very, very important. Ask you describe or explain the gas welding equipment. So you should write the connection, how the gas acetylene and oxygen is connected, and write the chemical reaction. By heart the chemical reaction, right? There are two chemical reactions I have shown you, primary and secondary, right? In flames, please draw this diagrams clearly and mention the temperature ranges. Three flames will have different temperature ranges, right? So flames are very, very important. They may ask you write the techniques used in gas welding. So left hand technique and right hand technique. Gas cutting, I think you may get it in short answer, short answer questions they may ask you. Essay questions they may not ask you because very less information is given in gas cutting, right? It is cutting, it is not under welding. They are just giving you the application of gas with respect to workpiece. It is not under welding. Please remember, gas cutting is not under welding. Gas cutting is under the cutting techniques, right?
Okay, ma'am.
1 minute, let me switch off the